Hey guys, how are you? Happy Wednesday. We are one step closer to Friday, my favorite day of the week. And it is raining here in Florida. So I decided to take this rainy afternoon, evening to continue my conversation on abandonment. If you're not following me on Facebook, I will put a link into the comments with my link to the Grit and Grace Facebook page where this morning I started talking about abandonment and what that really looks like. For the most part, it's going to come from two main places, either emotionally, maybe a parent or somebody that you were close to growing up wasn't emotionally there for you. Maybe you weren't allowed to speak about your feelings or cry or show any kind of emotion. And if that is being told to us by our parents, who we see as being the people who are put on the face of this planet to teach us how to do life and show us what the ropes of life is supposed to look like, that is the ultimate rejection right there. And when you are a kid, you do not understand the context that goes on behind how they're making you feel and why they're making you feel that way. The second way that it is most common to experience abandonment is physical. So rather somebody close to you passed away, or you had a series of deaths that of close to you, people that were close to you when you were younger, that can definitely cause it. But we also see it in parents who were not physically there for their kids. So maybe they had drug or alcohol problems, maybe they were choosing other people over us, in and out of prison, county jail, anything where they were not physically there for you. It's another sense of rejection that we don't know how to cope with as kids. And so as kids, we are going to go out into the world and we are going to try to find that love and belonging, that acceptance from somewhere. I work with a lot of gang members, and most of them, if not all of them, will tell you their parent was in and out of jail, in and out of prison. Some of them were killed when they were young because of the lifestyle that they chose. And so when you're dealing with that, a lot of them were raised by either older siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, whoever. And so they're going out in the world and they are trying to, like I said, find that love and belonging, that acceptance from somewhere. And it's great when you have a support system, but if the extent of your support system is that they can tell you, I empathize with you, I haven't walked a mile in your shoes, I don't know what it's like to have had the experiences that you've been through, but I'm going to try my absolute best. It's not that we don't appreciate those people, but it's a completely different ballgame when you have somebody that can say, you know what, I have walked a lifetime in your shoes and I fully understand where you're coming from. Say no more. Wholeheartedly, I understand. And those people are the acceptance, the love and belonging that we are looking for. And depending on their way of coping with their own traumatic past is probably how that cycle is going to continue with us. So even if it's selling drugs, using drugs, drinking, partying, having sex with random people, whatever the case may be, we are going to learn that that is the way to deal with our problems. And you are not going to tell me that that's wrong, because if that person who now means the world to me because I have trauma bonded with them, that's what they're telling me to do, it's what I'm going to do. And so we continue to build in that way of life through abandonment, really unhealthy ways of dealing with things, from our relationships and the people that we choose to our own self-worth, our self-esteem. And to me, self-worth and self-esteem are two completely different things. Self-esteem in my eyes is how other people make me feel. If you are constantly trying to tell me that I'm less than, I'm not worth something, chances are on the outside, I can still tell you to kick rocks. That's not true. I know better than to believe those things about myself. But if we continue to get into friendships, relationships, other family members that continue to tell us those same things, eventually I may start to believe you. If you're being told the same thing by multiple people, we get to a point where we start looking at it like, well, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, must be a duck. And that's where my self-worth starts to go downhill, because now I believe you. And not only do I believe you, but I'm probably acting on that as well, because I've already experienced this rejection from my family. And I continuously come across people that just don't really see my value. They don't see my worth. And so gang members, for example, that I have worked with anyway, they tend to find a lot of pride and their worth in the street. So if that's selling drugs, becoming one of the biggest drug dealers or plugs, as we call them, in their neighborhood, then they are viewed as kind of a kingpin, kind of somebody that has a lot of street, smart street cred, if you will. And they're going to work off of that. They are going to pride themselves in that way of life. Even if you don't have any gang affiliation, you've never been in gangs, most of us can still relate to what it's like to feel like we're having to find our worth in maybe the wrong things, the wrong people, because that doesn't exist within ourselves. And so as we start to get older, we learn from our experiences, and our experiences in life will become our beliefs. So rather that is that people choose to leave our lives and they choose not to stick around for very long, or they pass away. Either way that you look at it, excuse me, they are going to continue to see people as not safe. Emotionally, mentally, physically. They don't stick around. We learn that people leave, people come and go. And so it becomes easier to set those walls and set those high boundaries with people, that even if you're a really good person, the risk isn't worth the reward. And what I mean by that is the risk that I have to take of trusting you, communicating with you, opening up to you in some way is not worth the reward that may or may not come at the end of that relationship. And so we only let people in to a certain degree from fear that that person is either going to use that information against me, I'm going to open up and get close to them, they're going to leave, they're going to pass away, whatever that comes down to. And so I just don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to feel like I'm putting all of my eggs in one basket. And so my strength and my protection has to come from me and me alone. And so some people start to build that belief that I got to get you before you get me. And that's a really hard way to live. I am going to get into how abandonment will affect our adult relationships as we start to get older, and some of the things that we start to see later on in life that we didn't maybe see when we were younger, and upload that. That will be in the next day or two, so definitely be watching out for that. If you feel that today resonated with you, it hit home for you, please follow me on Facebook. I've been posting a lot of stuff over there as well, and I continue to update here. If anybody needs to talk, wants to reach out, please do not hesitate to let me know. And I hope that you all stay safe. Have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.